Should you keep people out your business if you want a happy marriage? On this segment of It's Scary to Remarry. What's up, Brave Arts community? This is Sean Heineman here with another segment of It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. Today's topic: should you keep people out your business if you want a happy marriage? I did some research and I was on Instagram and I decided to take a poll. The poll, 94% of you said, yes, it's better to keep people out your business if you want a happy marriage. 94%. Now I can see why, but there are pros and cons to this. And that's why I want to talk about this video a little more in detail as far as the pros and cons, because it's almost like a double-edged sword, right? And we're going to talk about that a little more in depth. Now, I can see why you don't want people in your business, because people gossip, right? People live to gossip. Now, if you have a friend and your friend, y'all talking about these relationship issues that y'all having, some of y'all might have a shared pain, y'all both having these relationship issues. And the downside to this is you've told your business to your friend of yours because you needed somebody to vent to. No one else was there for you. And now all of a sudden, your friend knows about all your significant other or your spouse flaws, right? Because you've been venting to them for the past 2 weeks, the same stuff, all the stuff that he's doing wrong, or all the stuff that she's doing wrong. And what happens is, after y'all get past this personal issue y'all been having, now, y'all see each other, y'all in public, y'all kicking it, y'all go together somewhere as couples, and now this person that you've gossiped to is looking at your spouse like, yeah, all the crap that you've been doing, right? But your spouse have no idea because you've been gossiping to your friend about your spouse. So I think that's something that's not healthy, because people look at you sideways and they like to kind of use ammo against you when things fall apart in your relationship. Because say if your marriage doesn't work, you'll have a girlfriend or something, girl, I told you he wasn't no good, or all these different things. And I think it's best that you have people in your corner that will fight for you. And I'll talk about that later. Now, who are you telling your business to? Do you have friends and family that aren't happy in their own relationships? This is another one. So I understand where this 94% of people come from as far as keeping people out your business. If you do have friends and family members that do not have a healthy marriage, I would say stay away from them, because misery love company. I mean, it is so true that miserable people, they want you to be miserable with them. There's nowhere in the world that you have a marriage that's thriving, and then you're going to talk to your girlfriend or somebody about how your marriage is thriving and they going through hell with their spouse. That's they just looking at you like, I don't want to hear all that positive stuff. I want you to be mad with me. And a lot of times the negative have a tendency to take over than the positive perspective from a marriage. So who are you discussing your issues with when it comes to your marriage? Friends who are bitter or family members who are bitter. You want to avoid those kind of people, and you know who they are. So you don't have to settle and talk to them, because it just seems like they're always going to be there for you when crap hits the fan in your marriage. Now, if you put your personal business online, when people see you in person, they want to know if you're the real deal. Now, let me explain this. For me, I like for my marriage to be transparent. So sometimes I will share things online about my wife and I, or things that, some of y'all know my story and how we met. And even just some things that we might go through, I'll talk about it on a podcast episode or someone else's podcast episode, and how we got through those things, right? I think it's important for people to see that sometimes, because we always put our social media highlights online. We got these relationship goals. Everything is perfect. Y'all look great together, all this other stuff. But behind the scenes, y'all probably going through hell, and nobody online knows. They just celebrating y'all because y'all look cute together. But I will say that when I do podcast interviews and talking to other people, I will put myself out there sometimes, and even my own personal flaws and things that I deal with, because I want people to see the transparency. I think that's something that we are missing in a lot of relationships today, especially when it comes to the online world, where people need to see how you got through that tough season in your life. They need that because it gives them hope, right? There's been plenty of times where I put myself out there and even some of these videos, and I will talk about how I got through it and letting you know that there's hope for you at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes, because I've even seen, I will meet people in person and they will be like, your relationship is actually as genuine as it look online. They like, oh, so y'all like real, like this is a real genuine thing that y'all have going on. I'm like, yeah, we're not fronting for social media. This is us in real life, because I don't play the phony stuff. I mean, if our marriage is trash, then I'm not just gonna talk about it, but I will say that our relationship is genuine. This isn't to put my wife and I on a pedestal or anything, but people just need that transparency. So if you're going to put yourself out there online, especially in the relationship groups and in the marriage groups and things of that on Facebook, and you're venting and you're putting your personal business out there, people want to know if you're the real deal, or you're taking all these selfies with your spouse, and they want to know, yeah, let me see if that's really real or not, because they will see you from afar and then talk about you online and say, oh, all that stuff was fake, So just make sure that the relationship is authentic if you're putting your business out there online. Now, here are the pros to having someone in your business if you want to have a happy marriage. The first one is having a third party, which is a game changer, i.e., I would say a therapist. I think this is vital into having a happy marriage. My wife and I, we have our own individual therapists, but then we also have our marital therapist that we share together when we are in therapy, because there's personal issues on each side, but then when we come together, this third party helps us to see things from a different vantage point. And I'll talk about that in detail a little more. Now, the thing with therapists is they don't play favorites, they don't play sides, they don't have nothing to lose, and they want the marriage to win overall. It's not about when you're in therapy, you're like, yeah, get them, talk bad about them, or yeah, it's not about that. It's not about taking sides. It's about wanting the marriage to win at the end of the day, because you want your marriage to win. And I get it. A lot of times you have to make some sacrifices in order to make the marriage work. But if you truly and genuinely love that person, those sacrifices, they are worth it in the end. Now, a third party that can be a therapist. And then also, do you have mentors? Or do you have happily married friends and family? So I'm kind of flipping this, right? So like I said before, it's almost as if it's a double-edged sword. But trusted mentors and happily married friends and family. And they can help you and your spouse see things different when y'all have fallouts. They can talk to you and say, she's maybe trying to say this to you. Because there's times, and all my married people know, you can tell your spouse something until you're blue in the face. And they don't hear you. But then once they hear the third party, they're like, oh, and you sitting there like, I've been saying this all the time though. So those are some of the pros to having a mentor and happily married couples or friends and family that want to see your marriage win. Those third parties are very important. And remember, at the end of the day, when your mentor or friend who have a healthy marriage, when they help you see a different vantage point, you can go back to your spouse and then y'all can restart. Y'all can start over. Okay, this is what my mentor, or this is what my mom or my dad was saying to me, and I get it now. Okay, let's start over, because the thing we was arguing about, it seemed as if we couldn't hear each other. But once we got that healthy perspective that wanted to see your marriage win from a friend or family, that's when the marriage can take a turn for the better, because you can have the same argument over and over again until you get that other perspective from a healthy perspective, not somebody who's baneful or they want your relationship to fail. You want those healthy people in your life that want to see y'all win. So I hope this video was able to help someone. Everybody don't deserve to be in your business, but at the same time, you do want to make sure that you have the healthy people in your life that want to see your marriage win. This is Sean Heineman at It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. If you are not able to see this on YouTube, you can also hear the podcast version as well, maybe while you're driving or you're working out, or maybe you're at work. Stop by iTunes or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and review. I would love to hear from you. If that's a 1-star or whether if it's a 5-star, I want to know what you really think about the podcast and if it's helping you out. Take care, people.